WWE had a lot to follow up on coming out of a wild episode of Monday Night Raw last week in Perth, Australia, when they had the Vision effectively break up and turn on Seth Rollins, which it turns out though Rollins is actually hurt with a shoulder injury and he's out for the time being. So they had a lot to follow up on that, and unfortunately the way to start that off was Rollins being forced to vacate the World Heavyweight Championship, which he had just won a couple months prior at SummerSlam by cashing in Money in the Bank. Really sad and unfortunate because the run was going pretty good and it seemed like it was going to be something that was going to go through maybe WrestleMania where he could have faced Breaker or someone else. Unfortunately, injuries happen in wrestling. It's a dangerous sport, so here we are. But WWE said no time no. They announced a number one contenders battle royal to determine who will face CM Punk for that vacant title at Saturday night's main event next month, since Punk had just won a number one contenders match last week. This is where they lost me a little bit here, because granted they were backed into a corner. Injuries happen, like I said. But I think unfortunately this match showed just how badly the main event needs a refresh, especially when it's been the same Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, all lingering around there, all lingering around Seth Rollins for all these months, when you had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker sitting right there who could have been in the Battle Royal, but they weren't, and they basically explained that it was because of everything that those two have been doing for months now, and including now injuring Rollins as well in storyline. It would have been nice if they were in it. That match just badly needed it, because it was either going to be Jey Uso, it was going to be LA Knight, and that's really all the believable ones. They had Dominic Mysterio come down at the end there, but it just wasn't believable enough, especially when he's already got 2 titles, and they're not going to throw him in for a third thing. That just wasn't going to happen. But they really missed an opportunity here, because granted, they're doing something with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They're elevating them. They're now fully on their own. But at the same time, WWE missed something here to give that match a refresh, and even have Braun Breaker win this. Braun Breaker could have won that. I mean, to me, the future is now. He's not the future. He's right now. And I think WWE kind of missed that there, even though he's going to be fine. He's going to be just fine. But his moment is right now, coming off that hot angle. And you could have put him in that main event with CM Punk at Saturday night's main event. And sure, maybe they see something bigger for his eventual title win, but plans change, man. Plans change. He's over as a heel. He's red hot. And you got to take advantage of that before things fade. And now this has been a problem with WWE with other performers, where over the past year they build them up and they put them in a big spot, and then they just don't do anything with it to follow up, which is weird because they followed up on that previously. But at the same time, no, that took fans getting into it, especially when, for example, Cody Rhodes having to be forced back into the main event scene for WrestleMania 40. Inexplicable, but it happened, and it happened for the better. But when it came down to it, though, for this Battle Royal, it made sense for Jey Uso to be that guy to go challenge Punk, especially when his storyline has been so unfocused about taking that edgier side and having Roman Reigns in his ear, basically saying, go take what's yours, and basically getting away from that one-note yeeting, which, granted, I enjoy that part of Jey Uso, but that's also only what he's been about for a long time now. So in the weeks leading up to this, his personality has really been coming out, and it really made a statement here that, hey, Jey Uso is someone to be taken serious. Even though we just saw a world title run with him, though, a couple months back, that to me, I didn't think it really worked, and I think WWE realized that too, because they took the belt off him within weeks. And it just wasn't as good of a championship run. And granted, that was also when he was one note. Now he's changing things up a little bit, clearly. And I'm curious. I'm curious to see if they're going to pull the trigger with him, because I feel like they are. Punk doesn't really need the title right now, and the money match is him and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania next year. Also be a very similar build-up like John Cena earlier this year, where maybe Punk loses that title, where Punk loses the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. It's in Chicago. Makes sense for him to go win there, and then you have him go challenge Cody Rhodes. So this seems like it's set up for Jey Uso to go take this at Saturday night's main event. It's not really needed for him to have another title run so soon. Of course, injuries again force things into play, but I just don't know if we're ready for that yet. But I hope I'm proven wrong. I really hope I'm wrong there. But they needed something fresher, I think. And sure, Jey Uso could get another chance at the World Heavyweight title down the road. But I just don't think it was yet. And I think they, even going for Bronson Reed with this, I would have put Bronson Reed in that position too. That might be bold to say, especially if you're not ready to go use Braun Breaker in the title scene yet, which I don't see why not at this point. Bronson Reed should be next guy. He just beat Roman Reigns, so he has the heat behind him as well. It's just a missed opportunity. Even though they tried to explain it in storyline, it's just a missed opportunity to me. And you could have had one of them beat Punk. You could have had Reed especially go beat Punk. I mean, he just, like I said, he just proved he could beat the top babyface in the company, or maybe number 2 to Cody Rhodes at this point. But missed opportunity there. I guess with Braun Breaker now, keeping him out of the title scene allows him to have a feud with someone else, maybe get more to get his legs underneath him a little more, but his legs already feel underneath him a little bit, and he already had a singles run before joining the division earlier this year. Maybe they're going to pair him up and have a feud with LA Knight, maybe, even though they've been around each other for a while. Maybe he's going to be going for whoever wins that title at Saturday night's main event. That could be a logical thing too, especially with Survivor Series coming up, but at the same time, you also have the War Games match for Survivor Series as well. So it's tough to know where we're going here with him, but I'm not like dissuaded by anything. Like, he's gonna be just fine. He's gonna be perfectly fine. He's clearly the now, even though Paul Heyman talked to him like he was the future, but he is the now, and I think WWE needs to capitalize on that very, very soon before people maybe lose interest a little bit, a la LA Knight. And granted, LA Knight is not Braun Breaker, but not doing anything with LA Knight to really get him to that world title picture and actually win it, it's a missed opportunity. So I don't think we're going to have the same case here, but WWE really needs to strike when the iron's hot. As for the rest of the show, we had a lot of title matches going on here. Everything from AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defeating the Judgment Day to go win those World Tag Team titles, which has not been defended since July 28th. They said that on commentary. So I don't really know what to make of this title win for them being big, because those titles just weren't really around too much to be defended, even though Finn Balor and JD McDonough were on Raw plenty, but at the same time, is this a big deal? Because WWE doesn't really take tag teams too seriously, besides needing a big win on Raw to say, oh, we made a title change. So I don't know. I don't know how much stock to really put in this, but, you know, good for AJ Styles. It gives him something to do as his career winds down. Dragon Lee puts a title on him too. No arguments there, so good on them. Dominic Mysterio retained his Intercontinental title over Rusev, where he again used an Eddie Guerrero tactic, and while the ref was distracted, hit him below the belt and got the win. So wonderful. I'm all for Dominic Mysterio. I'm all for everything he's doing right now and has been doing, and they're clearly making him just another Eddie Guerrero, and you know what? He does it perfectly. I am totally okay with that. I'm really happy they took away the whole mask gimmick with him too, where he was putting the El Grande Americano thing under his mask. He doesn't need that. It's not necessary. He's fine the way he is, lying, cheating, and stealing, and it's working as this like tweener-ish kind of guy right now. And he can do it against Rusev. It seems like they're setting up something with Penta, so all for that. Keep it going. And then on top of that, we had Maxine Dupree taking on Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, that resulted in a DQ after Maxine looked like she was taking some kind of advantage there, and Becky just took her out with. So that's going to keep going probably, and those two have good chemistry in the ring. I mean, frankly, Becky has great chemistry with really anyone in the ring, but it's also nice to see Maxine having the best matches of her career. There, she was really struggling for a while. She did put on some stinkers in the ring, unfortunately, but she's always had that charisma, and she's clearly working at becoming better, and I think she's getting rewarded for that, which is great. I'm really liking that. And there's probably going to be more opportunities for her soon. Maybe it's in their title match. Maybe it's at Saturday night's main event. Not expecting her to win, but hey, maybe AJ Lee shows up there and costs Becky Lynch, and maybe we get a surprise title change. Could be possible. And speaking of Becky, I'm so glad they had them address Seth Rollins being turned on, because she was just in a storyline with her husband a month ago, so why wouldn't she care in TV? Why wouldn't she care? So that exchange with Paul Heyman in the back, that was so good. So good. That's just promo work 101, just showing that passion, care, logic, the tone, everything just worked out. It was so good. So good. She's Becky Lynch. She's been doing this for such a long time now. And she's so good at what she does, and she sold that so well. And she even still came off like a heel, while also you can understand her logic too. Of course she's going to be pissed. Of course she's going to side with her husband, who thinks that Paul Heyman was always a slime ball. Of course. So, 2 thumbs up. Now the last thing to note from the show is Stephanie Vaquer defeating Roxanne Perez, and then Raquel Rodriguez taking out Stephanie Vaquer, only for Nikki Bella to come in and save the day. And Nikki said afterwards that Stephanie's going to need some kind of help moving forward, for someone to have her back, because they've interacted backstage a couple times before, and they're friends now on TV. Sure, who cares? Why not? But in WWE, when odd pairings come together like that, someone turns heel every time. Every time. Every single time. And that's going to be Nikki Bella here. I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen, where maybe they team up to go face Raquel and Roxanne at Saturday night's main event, and Nikki screws over Stephanie and sets up a title match at Survivor Series next month. Makes total sense. And I would be surprised if that did not happen. So Raw was definitely a mixed bag in some ways. Some things were good, some things not so great. I'm glad they did a lot of follow-up from last week's show. Not sure that was always expected, but it did work out okay. So I'm curious to see where they go next, because they have a little bit of a road to go before Saturday night's main event. And then you have Survivor Series. So there's a lot of time to play with here, which WWE hasn't really had for a while, because they've been packing in shows. So we'll see where we're going here, and curious to see what's next on the road for Jey Uso. You got him against CM Punk, and even though I'm not a huge fan of this, they really need a refresh here with the main event scene. Still should be an interesting match, and I'm still right now expecting Jey Uso to win this, and it sets up Punk to go face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, but who knows? And then a potential Jey Uso world title run. I'm not sure where that's going to go either. But that really needs some kind of fresh take on it too. Maybe that's Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. Maybe you do a brotherly title match, even though their first match at WrestleMania 40 was not that good. But we'll see. So that will do it for this. My name is Rob Wolkenbrod, and you can go check out my stuff at Forbes.com and their sports money section. And we'll be back here talking more wrestling coming up soon. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe too. We're trying to grow out this channel here. This is the second video I've done. I'm just looking to have some fun talking about wrestling here, and hopefully build out some kind of community here. We got a long way to go based on the subscriber total right now, but hoping people tune in sooner than later. On Forbes, you can also check out my interviews recently with Tony Khan, Kyle Fletcher, and Samoa Joe.